Hey everyone, it's Jennifer and Justin Roach here, the only Roaches you want in your home with Bluebell Realty, and we are so excited. This is episode number 2 for Infesting Real Estate Podcast.
And episode number 2 is going to be all about health.
That's right.
Because everybody wants to be healthy, right?
Yeah, like health of the body, or do you mean health of homes?
Oh, I mean so many different things about health.
Oh, perfect.
Health of the body, health about homes, health in your business.
Ooh.
We are going to talk about it all today.
That's
so,
awesome.
Buckle up, because it's healthy to buckle up. It's healthy to buckle up.
Do I need the shoulder strap or just the waist belt?
Oh, you need the 5-point harness.
Okay.
5-point harness.
All right, let me go get that. You talk about the next thing.
All right, so while he's getting the 5-point harness, I'm going to talk about the next thing. So next, we are going to highlight a local business.
I can't find it. You know where it is?
No clue where it is.
Oh, all right.
Why don't you come on back?
Are you sure?
Come on back.
All right. Couldn't find it.
You couldn't find it, but we're gonna still be healthy
Okay.
without our 5-point harness. So buckle up, because this episode we are going to be featuring Stadler Chiropractic and Company. Come along with us to Delafield.
We'll see you there.
Hey guys, it's Jennifer and Justin Roach here, the only Roaches you want in your home with Bluebell Realty.
We're super excited to bring this business spotlight to you. We're in downtown Delafield at Stadler Chiropractic and Company. Let's get cracking.
We're here with a woman who's made a huge impact in my life and in my bones, Dr. Shannon Stadler.
Dr. Shannon, why did you choose to become a chiropractor?
So becoming a chiropractor was actually not my first choice ever. I was on the pursuit of pharmacy school. My undergrad is biochemistry, I was doing pharmacy program, and that's actually kind of what pushed me more holistic. Really, it was kind of the idea of, why are we giving these medications to everybody time and time again, and we're not really changing any of the results? We're not giving like really life-altering changes. And then I had my own injury that I was doing physical therapy. I did some injections, and I was supposed to have this surgery on my arm. And my best friend is a farm kid, and she talked me into going to her chiropractor, who I was terrified to see, to be perfectly honest. And I gave it a shot, and in 6 visits, my arm was 100%. I had full strength, I had full feeling, and I was about to have a surgery on my elbow, thinking that it was gonna help my hand. And it was kind of interesting how this chiropractor took x-rays of my neck, was adjusting my cervical spine, adjusting my shoulder, and that healed my hand. So then it made me say, well, wait, maybe there's something else out there, like another part of this medical system that we're missing. So something else that we can do to help people be the best, truest versions of themselves without the pharmaceuticals. Of course, there's a time and place for that, right? But I mean, it was kind of it for me. I started shadowing other chiropractors. I started looking at different schools. I went back to school for 4 years, and here we are today.
So, Dr. Shannon Stadler, we started coming to you, but before we did, we went to another chiropractor, and they were clearly numbers focused. Like, I would walk in, hey, I'm here, let's get you in your room, pop, pop. I am back in my chair, and the chair is still warm from me sitting in it. Like, we know the difference of your service, but like, could you tell us a little bit about why you do what you do and why the patient is so important to you?
Absolutely. Sadly, your story's kind of a normal story for some people. And I love my people, I love my colleagues, but it is something that we can do pretty fast. It is something that you can assess the spine and perform a really good adjustment pretty quickly. So some people move kind of quick. And that's something that I never really loved. And I used to be at a clinic that was like that. And what I loved was getting to know you, Jen, and you, Justin, and learning you and your family and what do you do during your day. And if I could learn more about you and what you do for your day, I can offer more insight of how we can correct your body, not just with the adjustment right here and right now, but help keep you better in your everyday life, because I'm actually taking that time to listen. You know, and I wanted to feel kind of like you were part of the family, right? So I also wanted to get to know people because I want to like my job too. right? And I don't even call it job. It's kind of the cool part. But I want to walk in and feel like I'm treating my brother and my sister and my mom and my dad and my little nieces and nephews. You know, I want it to feel really family environment, right down to the building that we chose, which is an old house, right? I wanted you to walk into my living room and literally feel like you were part of my family when you came in. And so I make the adjustments a little longer. I spend more time. I feel like I'm more of an investigator, getting to the root of the problem. You know, so it's not just lickety split. It's hopefully to me something that's going to make you awesome, not just now, but when you're 70, 80, 90 years old.
Dr. Shannon, you have helped our family with so many different things, but one of the really big things that you helped us with was our kids. They used to suffer from really bad chronic ear infections, and each of our boys had 3 sets of ear tubes prior to seeing you. And since seeing you regularly, that has completely cleared up. And anytime they've even had the slightest ear infection, you've been able to help that go away with just an adjustment and no antibiotics, which is just absolutely incredible and has been really life-changing for our family. What are some of the main ailments that you treat in people?
Great question. Most people think chiropractic and they think neck pain and back pain, which is beautiful and perfect, and they're not wrong. And in fact, what we do when we assess the spine, where it's obviously assessing the integrity of the vertebral column, which protects the nervous system. So when a nerve is getting pinched, it's very, very uncomfortable. So that makes sense that people would then start there. But what I love and what we've been able to start educating people on are that those nerves don't just control pain. Those nerves control your ears. Those nerves control your heart. Those nerves control your lungs. They control your GI system. They control everything, right? So when you're able to really assess the spine and perform a specific adjustment, you get to help so much more of what those nerves are going to, which would be your eyes, your ears, your nose, your throat. So it's really cool how people come in because they say, oh, my neck hurts. And then after like some pretty good education, I like to think, we get people going, wow, I'm sleeping better. Wow, my eyes feel clear. Wow, my kiddos, their ear infections are going away lickety split after an adjustment. My sinus infection is going away. What is this? You know, you kind of get this cool dialogue of things, and then you get to educate about the human frame and how the spinal column is functional neurology. And I mean, it's pretty cool. I feel like I get to witness little miracles every day.
Dr. Stadler, your company is growing, so you must be looking for more patients then.
Always. I think the whole world needs to be adjusted. So we've grown, and we've kind of gotten to the place where I've gotten so busy, we added another chiropractor, we've added more people at the front desk staff, we're looking to add more. So of course we want more new patients, because I want people to really see what this can be as part of their healthcare, right? I tell everyone who's on your speed dial. You should have your primary care medical doctor, who's your dentist, who's your optometrist. I think everyone should have a chiropractor, and then your wild card, right? So who's the next doc? Maybe that's your PT, maybe that's your, womanly or manly specialist, right? Like who's your speed dial? But I want chiropractic to be on the speed dial, and I obviously think that we do a nice job here. But I really think that it's important that everyone gets this kind of care.
We heard that you joined the Delafield Chamber of Commerce. How important is community involvement to you?
Huge. So I'm from a small little town called, well, I guess not small, but Topeka, Kansas. And we used to do so much as a community, right? You go to church, you have activities after church, you go to little local businesses, you call Bob who does the roofing, right? The older I've gotten, and when I became a small business owner, I realized it's sometimes not what you know, but who you know. And getting those connections when you're in the community and you're part of the chamber, you actually get to really know these other small business owners. And it kind of puts skin in the game. It makes you feel really alive in the community and really invested in the community. You want to see people succeed. You want to see them grow and hopefully outgrow their spaces, right? So it is really important to me that we're out there kind of taking care of our own, if you will.
That's awesome, and super, super important that we support each other.
Absolutely. And with that, we really thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and supporting our video here with the Infesting Real Estate Podcast Business Highlight. Thank you very much for joining us.
Wow, that was pretty awesome being at Dr. Stadler's office in Delafield. It was
Love
really,
it there.
we do actually. It's like a second home other than Chick-fil-A. Don't tell them this part. I think Kyle might be upset by that one, but that's all right. So it definitely got me thinking though, Jennifer, like with the health of the body, since obviously it's a real estate podcast, we got to talk about real estate. So like health of real estate, health of a home, like what do you think
It's
that?
important.
It's huge, right?
Yeah, health of a home is really important. You don't want to buy a house that's dying.
That's for sure. Hey, we've seen 100-page home inspections before.
We've seen homes that are dying.
Yeah. Jennifer and I commonly joke, like, normal's that 50-page line, and then there's some 75, like, yeah, we got some things to work on here. But if it's 100 or above, just light a match. Just walk away. Like, just let it, just be done.
Right, so if I don't want to buy a home that I have to light a match to, what are some ways that I can...
Disclaimer, we do not encourage you lighting people's houses on fire.
No, don't really
It should be just
Please
meant
don't
like
do
it's
that.
time to move on to a different property. Let's negotiate our way out of it and find a different house. That's what I meant. Just want to make sure that's
children
clear.
in the room.
Yeah,
no
right.
flares. Okay, so now that that's clear up.
Yeah, sorry. I just
What-
had to make sure that
What are
was
some
stated.
ways that we could make sure we're purchasing a healthy home versus a home that is going to the grave?
Yeah, so Jennifer and I, you and me, we're in like 20 plus homes a week. It
Right.
depends on the time of the year.
Right.
And Tammy, who's on our team and awesome, she's in 15 to 20 a week too. So, us being in homes, let us see what's happening and being a part of these home inspections, not just like, I've heard stories of this, I've never done it, but sat on a couch, feet up, take a nap while the home inspector's doing their job. Like, that's not,
Don't do that.
please don't. You're embarrassing the whole real estate community if you do that. But like being engaged so that when you walk through that home, you know what they're going to be looking at so that you can prepare your buyers. And that helps us know what hurdles are we going to have when we're negotiating. What are the idiosyncrasies of the home that's a negative thing, not a healthy thing.
So number one, find a realtor who actually has knowledge of homes
Yeah.
and what to look for in a home so that when you go on a showing, that realtor can help you pinpoint.
Right. There's a lot of know-it-alls out there. So like if you're interviewing that agent on a showing even, like you like them on the phone, but you're still interviewing them, you haven't signed buyer's agency, and you're in that home and you're like asking questions and they know absolutely everything, it's more than likely not possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like
You
good.
mean you don't know everything? He knows a lot.
Yeah, but I also know when to say, I have no idea. We need a professional
Let
in
me
here.
find out.
Yeah, or let me find out. Let's call the village. Let's call the town. So I think that's the health of a home is important to do it that way.
Yep.
Like, can I rent out? Can I make this a dwelling unit that I can rent out? I don't know. You're going to have to
Right.
call the county. You're going to have to call the city. You're going to call the municipality. Those are questions that only you and you working on that with the municipality can answer. But then there's other things that it's like, you know what? We've been in 1,000 homes this year, and block basements are going to move in Wisconsin. That's just what's going to happen. You know what? This crack is pretty small, but you still want to have someone who's a professional in it, measure it, and make sure that it's not moving.
Right.
Because if it is, now we have major problems.
So help the home. Find a realtor who's knowledgeable. And when they take you on showings, can point out things to you that maybe you wouldn't notice because maybe you're not knowledgeable, or maybe you are and you just need a second set of eyes looking things over. And then there's a second thing people can do. What would that be?
Oh man, you got to hire a home inspector for sure.
Yep.
Because I don't know everything. Like
Right.
when we're in those houses, we're only in there for what, 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes they give us 15.
Right. Sometimes they
Have you seen me try and tie shoes?
Windows.
Like that's why I wear cowboy boots. If I tied my shoes, we wouldn't be done with the showing in
Pop the
15
shoes
minutes.
off or run to each room and we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Home inspection is just vital. So, I have no idea. You and your real estate agent should definitely communicate that with each other, what your expectations are. If you are not a real estate agent, you're a buyer, or you're a seller even for that sake, because sometimes you can have an inspection prior to listing your property. But when buyers or sellers are working with us, we highly encourage that they have a home inspection.
Yep.
And if they're like, you know what, there's no way I'm going to win this for, there's 25 offers. I need to waive this. I need to waive something. If you decide you want to waive the home inspection, we actually have you sign a release. And it's a state document, actually. I did not draft it. And it just says, hey, we told you because we will. Because we're only in there for a short time. Since we're diving into the conversation about home inspections, we thought, who better to talk about home inspections than a home inspector? because we don't have that knowledge. I just told you I don't know what I know, right? This is the time. So we want to introduce you to Todd Jones for Peak Home Inspections. We've known him for a long time. We've even become friends. We see him probably once a month, twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month in the summer with home inspections. So we've learned a lot from him. And we think you will too. Welcome to the Infesting Real Estate Podcast. Today, Jennifer and I are joined with Todd Jones from Peak Home Inspections. Todd, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to ask Todd a couple of questions. And the first question we're going to ask is, what are some of the major components that you look for when you complete a home inspection?
Definitely. So home inspection, there's 3 major things that I look for. First thing is going to be any major concerns. So anything that's really going to change the value of the home negatively. Second thing is going to be any safety issues. So anything that's going to inhibit safety. And then third of all is just maintenance items. So we'll go through checking all the maintenance items, making sure that everything's properly maintained.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when Jennifer and I walk through your house, because we like to come to these home inspections, we know what you're kind of looking for to try to help the buyer and even seller, even in those cases, know what to expect when I get to this point. But your job's like to nitpick the house, right?
Definitely. So everything that you will get from me is a full inspection report that will be anywhere between 20 and 50 pages long on average. Some can be bigger, some can be smaller, but yeah, it's every little thing in the home. So it's going to be from things, major concerns, stuff that you'll really want to get repaired immediately, to stuff that might have to put a cover on an outlet or something like that. That's very minuscule, but yet it's technically a safety issue. And then things like changing furnace filters or regrading the exterior, just maintenance things.
Now, Todd and Jennifer and I have obviously experienced you at work many times before. And one of the things that we noticed, and I think I want to definitely bring up, but how important is it to you that the buyer actually understands the report versus just like getting a copy in an email and peace, see you later?
So that is one big thing. So I always ask for the homeowners or the buyers to be there, because there's a lot of things that go on that I can show you physically that I can't take pictures of, that I can't show in a report. Reports are going to be very cut and dry. So they're right to the point. They tell you exactly what's wrong and not how to fix them, but just that they need to be repaired. When if you're at the inspection, we can talk through the full process of how it can be repaired, how we can, or maybe even the cost, or relatively what the cost will be. In the report, it's just going to say it's wrong, it's a defect, or it's a major concern, it's a safety issue, where we can talk through things. And you can really realize, on your comfort level, what kind of problem it is.
Awesome. Yeah. So as a buyer, you can feel really comfortable knowing that you understand what the document means and not just 56 pages of let's light this house on fire.
Yeah. So a report that comes from a home inspector is going to be negative. It's all going to be negative. It's not going to be any of the positive stuff. I'm not going to say how nice the kitchen looks or how nice the granite countertops are.
Yep.
It's going to be what's wrong with it.
Okay.
So if you sit down and if you don't come to the home inspection, you sit down and open my report, it doesn't paint a pretty picture for the home.
So that's really good that you bring that up, because clearly I enjoy hunting as I'm wearing a camo coat here. And when we go to the butcher, like my butcher may be missing a finger or two because they're a good butcher. So have you ever fallen off a roof or fallen off a ladder before, Todd?
Unfortunately, I have.
Oh man, are you all right?
It took a toll on my back, but it was probably about from 12 feet up and landed on my back on asphalt. I did finish the inspection.
Wow.
So,
That's dedication.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a round of applause. That's dedication.
I ended up at the hospital afterwards, but it's okay.
Oh man, that's funny. Awesome.
So Todd, I sent you this photo, and I want you to look at it and tell me, as a home inspector, what are you thinking about when you see this photo?
So this has homeowner written all over it and not done by a professional. So definitely a licensed plumber did not plumb underneath this kitchen sink. So a couple things that I see right away. One, there are no shutoff valves in the water supply. Two, there's flexible piping that leads, that's in the drain.
That's the accordion pipe.
The accordion.
Yeah,
It's a
play that
flexible
music.
accordion. It can't be rigid on the interior of it. And just because they sell it at Home Depot doesn't mean that it's legal. Number 3 is there's no air gap where the dishwasher drain comes in. So there always needs to be an air gap to prevent cross-contamination. And number 4 is going to be the way it was insulated. There's spray foam, there's a large hole around it. And this looks like it was on the outside wall, so it's really important that's properly insulated as well. Otherwise, you're going to have frozen pipes below your kitchen sink. So, yep, this has no permit written all over it.
So number 5, no permit. That's awesome, Todd. I mean, I think that's a good insight for people as they watch this or even listen to this. If you're not watching it on YouTube, that you know what it is that they're looking for when they're in that home inspection. And like Todd said, it is kind of negative, but that's why you hired them, so that you know what's wrong with the property. So Todd, like, what are some things that you've seen like in a home inspection that's kind of stuck with you over the years, or maybe even training for home inspections? You do a lot of that.
So I think there's one situation. So a lot of people don't realize, even when you're buying a new home, that to get an inspection. So I was inspecting a condo. It was about 5 years old. I went up on the roof, and there was about 30 condos all the way around. And I went up on the roof to check out just the roofing, the chimney, everything on the exterior. I went up to the top of the chimney, and they never put a cap on the chimney. Okay. So the entire OSB that was exposed for 5 years had totally decayed, and water was running down the inside of the chimney. Well, the people that bought or that were sold the condo didn't opt in getting that option. Well, when they were going around to put in all the fireplaces, they're putting the caps on. Well, they didn't get the fireplace, so they never put a cap on it. So the whole inside of the chimney, all the way through the home, was full of mold. And it was just because they never got a home inspection to begin with.
Right.
A lot of times I'll go over a ridge on a new home, and there's an area that just forgot to get painted. Somebody went to lunch and never came back to finish it. A lot of weird things happen, especially with subcontractors.
Yeah, so as a summary, in Bluebell Realty's responsibility here, because that's what Jennifer and I own, we always recommend having a home inspection.
Even if it's a new build.
Even if it's a new build, new construction, even if the sellers give you their home inspection, we're still going to say, maybe you should have your own, which I think is really to the buyer's best benefit.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Todd. It's been awesome to gain a little bit of insight into home inspections from you. And so for everyone out there who's watching, what's the best way for people to contact you if they need a home inspection?
Definitely. My phone number is 414-477-3775. You can call at all times. To book an appointment. You also can go to peakhomeinspectionsmke.com and have a full website about everything we do. And also you can book inspections through there as well.
Awesome.
That's
We love
great.
the online booking too. That's really a neat option. So
Absolutely. And a hidden note, I don't know if Todd knows this. So in our home search app, we have a list of home inspectors, and Todd is in there.
yes.
So if you download our app, you're welcome. If you download our app, you go to Google Store, Apple Play Store, search Bluebell Realty. We're one of the premier home search apps in the country, the best in the state,
Definitely.
for sure. And you look in there as for home inspectors, you will see Peak Home Inspections with Mr. Todd Jones.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us for this contractor segment in our Infesting Real Estate Podcast. We look forward to seeing you next time.
See you guys.
Now that we've learned about the health of the body and how to keep it healthier, and we've learned about the health of the home and what to do to make sure that your home is healthy before you purchase it, now I think it'd be appropriate to talk about the health of business,
Ooh, this is deep.
right?
So agents, if you're listening,
this
take out your pen and
segment's
paper.
for you. Pen and paper. You're gonna want to write this down. This is really deep, or maybe it's not. So health of the business. So when I think about the real estate industry, and I look at our industry as a whole,
Yeah.
and I think about our area and the agents in our area, I think something that we've really enjoyed is just cooperation among agents.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's really, if we all worked on that in our little area here, or around the United States as well, I think it would make a big impact in our industry if everyone had the focus of, I want to actually work well with others. So I think salespeople in any industry can get a stereotype of being a bulldog, and I think particularly in real estate, that's a common persona that people think of when they think of a real estate agent. And not that there's anything wrong with being a tough negotiator. There's nothing wrong with that, negotiating well for your clients. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't negotiate well for your clients. But I am saying there's something to be said for cooperation with other agents, particularly agents in other firms. Because I think, within our brokerages, maybe we talk about let's work as a team, we're Team Bluebell. But, what about agents that are at First Weber or Shore West or, we have many other brokerages in our area. And what if we all, within the other brokerages, we decided that, hey, we're gonna build each other up. We're gonna, help each other out when we can. We're gonna, do our best to love each other, lift each other up, serve each other when we can.
So I think some people squirm when you're like, I gotta love an agent from another firm. I could feel it, like, ugh.
I don't mean mushy gushy love. I mean
I know what you mean,
authentic.
But Jennifer and I have been really particular in focusing in on how we can help build up other agents, even at other firms. So yeah, we love Bluebell. Bluebell's our favorite, obviously. It's ours, right? And we want our agents to be successful, but you know what? There's some agents at all the firms that we interact with that we want them to be successful too.
Right.
I could literally just start naming names for the next 10 minutes of the people we follow on social media.
Right.
That guess what? We're liking their stuff. We're hearting it on Instagram. We're sharing it off TikTok. And we're even with our own clients, showing it them. Hey, isn't this funny? Did you see these guys? There's things that they do that I think are awesome, and it helps build a community.
Right.
And when I can support, people from First Weber or Shore West or Remax or whatever, they understand that Bluebell, for example, in our case, is not out there just to be a bulldog, like Jennifer said. And there's one example in particular that we had a deal with someone, and things weren't really working out negotiating wise for our buyer. Our buyer was not happy, and they wanted us to cuss the other agent out because they thought the other agent lied. Well, we didn't have all the information, and I told Jennifer, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna talk to the other agent respectfully and professionally and say, hey, you know what? Our client's not appreciating what's happening right now, but if you can, produce the documents that got us to this point, let's do that. Let's cooperate with each other. And you know what? We got to a happy closing for both parties, and the client goes, why didn't you yell at them? Why didn't you scream at them? Why didn't you cuss them out? I said, the very next deal could be with that agent. Do you know whose house I showed that afternoon of closing?
I'm gonna guess that agent.
That same agent. And do you know who wrote an offer on that same agent's house? This guy. And do you know who got the accepted offer because I cooperated really well and she wanted to work with us again? So we're not just this isn't just hey, get on your high horse here. This is a legitimate example of when you help build other people up. I mean, we all make mistakes, right? Let's own it. Let's ask for forgiveness. Let's move on if that's the case. But at the same time, when you're in the trenches next to each other, working cooperation, I mean, that's part of our documents, part of our agreements in the state of Wisconsin. I know it's in other states too. Mean it. Don't just say it. Actually mean it. And I think, other agents love that when they see, how many times have you heard, oh my gosh, the Roaches are here, or Roaches wrote an offer. I'm so excited to see you guys wrote for us.
Yep, that's what we want to hear anyway. We hope that our actions are such that that's the response, right? Because not that it's a sneaky way of
trying to beat other agents.
Right. No, but it's a genuine, when you truly have a spirit of, serving others and lifting other people up and showing other people love, that's naturally just going to help the health of your business, right? Because people can see through it when it's fake, right?
Absolutely.
People are smart. They can see through that. And so just having a genuine spirit about you, I think, can mean a lot and help your business. So focusing in on that, how can I serve others in the industry, other agents in the industry. Maybe I'm not even doing a deal with them. Maybe it's just, interactions on social media. I know a lot of us are on social media now, like it's the place to be because, everybody finds their house online, and just, building each other up online or phone calls, texts.
Now, Jennifer mentioned the phone call. So this last week, actually, I was driving through this town, and it seems like every time we drive through, there's an agent's got a new sign there. I was like, what is she doing? She giving her left kidney to get a listing? Here's my child. You want a pony? How in the world is she getting all these listings? So I just thought, hey, I'll give her a call, let her know I noticed that, and congratulations, that's awesome. And it was really interesting because she was like, Justin, this is a high producing agent. This works. Not that I'm trying to do anything other than be nice, but this works whether you're selling 2 properties or you're selling 200, it doesn't matter. But she literally was like, Justin, this is the best part of my day. Thank you so much. And it clearly meant the world to her that I took 5 minutes to give her a call.
That's awesome.
And, I just thought that was super nice. And when we're talking about things that we can do or even homework to do with other agents, to build them up or lift them up, it could be a phone call.
Yeah, it could be. It doesn't have to be $100 gift card or, it doesn't have to be something big. It could be something small.
Yeah.
That something small could mean a lot.
So you said gift card, and it made me think there was a listing. Do you remember this listing that we had?
Yeah.
So Jennifer and I are in 20 homes a week. Tammy's on our team. She's at 15, 20 a week too. We love Tammy, by the way. Little side note there. But we know what it's like to lose out 2, 3, 4 times, writing offers 8 times for one person in particular lately.
Super competitive market. I know you guys out there all know this.
So Jennifer had this great idea, and so why don't you tell them?
So I thought, we had this listing and we had a lot of offers, right? So I was thinking, I've been on the other end of that where as the buyer's agent, it's so hard to, tell your buyer that you missed out on another one. And as the agent, it's hard too because, you work so hard in this market for your buyers, writing multiple offers and losing out. And it can be discouraging for the agent too to keep doing that. So I thought, well, what if we just did something little to encourage not only the buyer, but their agent too. And so we purchased Panera gift cards for each of the agents.
Had rejected offers.
Who had rejected offers, right. So that they could take their buyer out for a cup of coffee. Just, something just quick, just to say, hey, I see you. I see that you're working really hard and I want you to know that we appreciate your hard work. Thank you for writing on our listing if we didn't get it.
Yeah, and it was a nominal amount. It wasn't like we gave them $100 each. I mean, geez, I wish.
Just a little something to encourage,
Yeah.
And it's just thinking outside the box and thinking, what can I do to help serve those around me? What can I do to help encourage those around me? And thinking to our industry as a whole, again, trying to create that picture of what kind of industry do I want to work in? What kind of industry would I love to be in? And it's the kind of industry where it doesn't matter what brokerage you're with. It's about supporting each other and loving each other and serving each other and just creating a place where we all love to work.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to know the health of your business.
Yeah.
Are the other agents wanting to work with you? If people are avoiding you, maybe it's time to take some notes.
Right.
Talk to a coach, a business coach. Talk to your broker, talk to someone you trust. It's a good identifier there. So, like Jennifer said, we're going to dig a little deep. So we hope that you took notes on that. And if you took notes in episode 1 of Infesting Real Estate Podcast with Jennifer and Justin Roach, the only roaches you want in your home, we had told you that we were going to come with another funny story. And we have 2, but this podcast is kind of going long, so let's just do one of them.
One of them? All right,
Yeah.
all right. So start us off.
So this one we're going to do the health of our bodies, but not like Dr. Stadler health of bodies. Jennifer looks really young. Early 20s young. Trust me. We've had 3 kids, I'm telling you. But the funny thing is that she's actually older than me. And not everyone knows that. So not only did she rob the cradle with me.
Oh, no. I mean, come on. I'm less than a year older than you. Less than a year older.
Okay, she robbed the bassinet.
A little.
to our municipality to vote, because yesterday was voting in our local area, school board votes. And so we went to go vote. This was not yesterday, by the way. This was a few years back. And we couldn't go together for whatever reason. And so I went in and hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Here's my ID. My name's in the book. Thank you. My name's in this book. You guys are all happy. Give me my ballot. I'd signed it. Have a great life. We'll see you next time or at the grocery store or whatever, right? And so off we go. And I go home and I tag Jennifer in. I'm like, your turn. And Jennifer goes to vote. Jennifer, what happened when you went to go vote?
So I get there and I give them my ID and they're like, Roach. And it's funny when people hear our last name because it's such an awesome
You almost said awkward. You almost said awkward.
Awesome. It's an awesome last name that it's like, they have to like think about it because it's, I don't know if it's like the recognition of it or what it is, but they like said my last name a couple of times and I'm like, oh no, here it comes. What are they going to say? Like, Roach. And I totally, what they said, I was not what I was expecting because they were like, oh, Roach, yes, your dad was in here just a little bit ago to vote. I'm like, my dad? And I like had to think about it for a minute.
How old do I
like,
look?
My dad doesn't live, at the time my father-in-law didn't live there. So
Right.
I'm like, they're talking about Justin.
Oh my
And
god.
so like two thoughts hit my mind. Like number one, how old do they think Justin is? And number two, how young do they think I am? Like you have to be of age to vote.
Early
so, like,
20s, clearly.
Right? I mean, like, I don't.
Oh man, I love you.
I love you too.
So we've talked a lot about health in this episode.
We have.
So thank you so much for joining us today, being a part of episode 2 of Infesting Real Estate Podcast with Jennifer, Justin, Roach, the only Roaches you want in your home. Please stay tuned and like, subscribe, and follow depending upon where you're consuming this entertainment. Could be YouTube, could be Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, why don't you follow us? That'd be awesome. And we look forward to seeing you on our episode 3, where we dive in with some more interesting facts, a new business to highlight, and maybe some more information to learn with real estate, construction, minded.
Maybe another funny story.
Maybe another funny story. We'll see. And we'll see you in the next one.